File Item 112, AB 1742 Stone. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1742 by Assemblymember Mark Stone, enacting to CalWorks.
Mr. Stone, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. The CalWorks program is California's welfare to work implementation. It sets up a program that assists people to get out of poverty by teaching them the skills that they need to be in the workforce, giving them that little bit of help to be able to take care of themselves. Through 2009 and 2011, as we had the Depression, the CalWorks program was cut back significantly. Eligibility was decreased. The amount of time that individuals had to be on that program towards success was decreased significantly. As the poverty rates have been increasing since then, if you look at the latest census, and California has, under the supplemental poverty measure, poverty approaching 24%, this tool becomes very critical. What this bill does is it increases the earned income disregard, which is a tool that's used to see how much of the individual's income will be disregarded in the calculation of the benefit. This increases that disregard to ensure that we get more people getting the assistance that they need in order to get them into the productive workforce and assisting society. This is a bill we've been working closely with the administration on to make sure that they are in fact in agreement with how we address poverty in California, and I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 57, noes 3. The measure passes. File Item 113, AB 1747 Weber. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1747 by Assemblymember Weber and others, enacting to food assistance.
Dr. Weber, you are recognized.
Yes, Madam Speaker and members, I present to you AB 1747, which is our College Student Hunger Relief Act of 2016. In our discussions and in our findings with our campus climate, we've discovered that approximately 25% of our students are suffering from food insecurity, and many campuses are grappling with that. This bill is a simple bill that basically recommends a number of things that our campuses should do to make sure that they respond to the issue of food insecurity. This bill has no opposition, and it has a support position. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 53, noes 7. The measure passes. Moving to File Item 115, AB 1762 Campos. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1762 by Assemblymember Campos and others, enacting to human trafficking.
Ms. Campos, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker and members, AB 1762 would allow victims of human trafficking to vacate their criminal records for nonviolence convictions only. California has the highest percentage of human trafficking cases in the nation, and survivors are mainly women and children. This bill requires cases of sex crime convictions for children under 18 to be vacated because these convictions were a direct result of children being forced into sex trafficking. The bill would also apply to labor trafficking, which makes up a large portion of human trafficking cases in California. Many victims work without pay, breaks, or benefits and are often forced to commit petty crimes like theft and fraud due to their trafficker's threat and the trauma bond with their traffickers. In order to vacate, they will have to prove their trafficker forced them to commit these crimes based on a clear and convincing evidence. These convictions create long-term barriers for victims, including limited access to employment opportunities and housing. We need to stop punishing victims. Please, members, vote aye on this bill.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If any of the members have been paying attention to my speeches the last couple days, you will know that I'm against prostitution. And you'll also know that I'm against human trafficking. But there's a problem with this bill. Because what this bill does is it doesn't fight either of those things. Instead, what it does is it allows people to commit crimes without any penalty if they claim that they were victims of human trafficking. And while it's noble to want to sympathize with people that are being taken advantage of, that's simply too extreme. One issue, for example, is this bill will create a loophole for traffickers, for instance, to force victims into criminal activity, knowing that everyone would get away with it. I think that the sentiment of the author is in the right place, and I simply think the implementation of a law such as this would be extremely permissive of an activity that we're all trying to stop. If you are against human trafficking, if you're against prostitution, if you want to see this ended or curtailed significantly in California, we shouldn't be incentivizing it by allowing convictions to be vacated in this manner. I urge no vote.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Ms. Campos, you may close.
Members, either you believe in making sure that a individual who's been trafficked, whether it's in sexual or labor, then you need to vote aye on this bill. No one grows up saying, I want to have this lifestyle. As young as 8 years old, we know that they're being trafficked. And at that age, their minds are being developed. And they are being forced to do crimes just so that they could survive. Why do we continue to punish them when at some point in their life, they're able to get out of this lifestyle? It is our responsibility to make sure that they have the opportunity to be able to show that it was not their willingness to commit these crimes. Give them the opportunity to have that ability to find justice and be able to live a productive life. I ask for your aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. 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 The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 10. The measure passes. File item 116, AB 1763 Gibson. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1763 by Assemblymember Gibson, enacting into healthcare coverage.
Mr. Gibson, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members. I rise to present Assembly Bill 1763. This bill had bipartisan support in committee and seeks to improve access to care by removing cost barriers for colonoscopies for adults ages 50 to 75 and those at high risk for colorectal cancer. Colorectal cancer is a preventable, treatable, and beatable disease, but only with proper screening. The average cost for a colonoscopy is $913, and this cost can be created and be a barrier for those who are struggling. AB 1763 seeks to remove the barriers by eliminating the cost sharing for colorectal cancer. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on 1763.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on the item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 55, noes 1. The measure passes. File item 117, AB 1770, Alejo. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1770 by Assemblymember Alejo and others, enacting into public social services.
Mr. Alejo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I rise to present AB 1770. This is a bill that seeks to expand CalFresh system to ensure that any immigrant Californian who is lawfully present in the United States has equal access to nutritional assistance. Federal welfare reform in 1996 restricted the eligibility of some immigrants in our country to access the safety social net. But in response, in 1997, we as a state expanded eligibility to CalFresh to include some immigrant Californians who were made ineligible under that federal reform law. As a result, some immigrant Californians have access to food assistance under either the federal SNAP or the state CalFresh programs, but not all Californian immigrants who work and pay taxes just like citizens qualify for CalFresh. Under this bill, it will help reduce hunger in our state by making any individual who is legally present in the country to be eligible for CalFresh benefits. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this bill.
Seeing and hearing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 45, noes 18. The measure passes. Members, we are prepared to lift the call on AB 2757 Gonzalez. The clerk will post. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Ms. Gonzalez has asked for the roll to be closed. Ayes 37, noes 34. The measure fails. File item 118, AB 1778 Quirk. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1778 by Assemblymember Quirk, enacting into student safety.
Dr. Quirk, you are recognized.
Hurry. Thank you, Speaker and members. AB 1778 require that all staff at institutions of higher learning who accept state financial aid are trained annually on how to respond to and report incidents of sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking involving a student. California can and must do a better job of protecting students from further trauma on college campuses. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this important measure.
Seeing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 55, noes 0. The measure passes. File item 119, AB 1792 Wood. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1792 by Assemblymember Wood, enacting into hunting.
Dr. Wood, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. AB 1792 will require the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to meet with tribes to discuss elk-related issues and come up with science-based solutions. Elk are one of the many fundamental cornerstones interwoven within a tribe's heritage. Native Americans use elk in funeral preparations, honoring elders of a tribe, and many other cultural celebrations. Fishing for salmon is an integral part of tribal culture, and tribes have entered into treaties with the federal government that reserve the tribe's hunting and fishing rights for salmon. Elk are very much like salmon when it comes to the traditions of Native Americans, but elk do not have the same designation as salmon. AB 1792 is a small step forward in addressing this disparity. The recent amendments to this bill have removed all opposition, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 46, noes 11. The measure passes. Mr. Caldron, you're recognized for your motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 63 and Assembly Rule 69 and allow Assemblymember Wood to take up late amendments to AB 2243 and, upon adoption of the amendments, allow him to take up the measure in mock-up form without reference to file for the purpose of third reading.
Ms. Waldron, you're recognized.
Without objection.
Without objection, the motion carries. File item 120, AB 1795 Atkins. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1795 by Assemblymember Atkins and others, enacting into healthcare programs.
Speaker Emeritus Atkins, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 1795 would remove 3 specific barriers that make many low-income women and men ineligible for life-saving breast and cervical cancer screening and treatment. First, currently the state's Every Woman Counts program provides mammograms to low-income and underinsured women. But currently women under 40 who have symptoms for breast cancer can't receive a screening. And that doesn't make sense because we know breast cancer can be far more aggressive in younger patients and more likely to lead to death if they're not diagnosed early. Second, currently the state's breast and cervical cancer treatment program won't cover treatment for a recurrence of the same type of cancer in the same part of a patient's body. There's no good reason for that. Why would we cover a person's second cancer if it's in her lung, but not if it's in the same breast as her first cancer? Third, currently the breast and cervical cancer treatment program stops providing treatment after 18 months for breast cancer and 24 months for cervical cancer. It's an arbitrary cutoff. Some women need more time for treatment, others need less. But the fact is we should give them the treatment that they need. The best way to keep Californians healthy is to detect problems early and begin to treat immediately. AB 1795 will help the state follow these principles with respect to these programs. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 56, noes 1. The measure passes. File item 121, AB 1878, Jones Sawyer. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1878 by Assemblymember Jones Sawyer, enacting into public employees' retirement, making appropriation therefore.
Mr. Jones Sawyer, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 1878 would authorize the CalPERS Board to increase the death benefit amount paid to the beneficiary of a classified school employee and gives authority to CalPERS to adjust it every year according to the California Consumer Price Index. In 2015, according to the National Funeral Directors Association, the average cost of funeral costs was $7,000, is significantly higher than the $2,000 current death benefit paid for classified school employees. AB 1878 would better align the death benefit of classified school employees with the actual cost of funerals and with the death benefits received by other educators. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Listen, as a financial advisor for the last 20 years, as well as an insurance agent, not only have I recommended life insurance to many of my clients, I've also advised many of my clients on taking advantage of the life insurance benefits, whether voluntary or automatically given by their employers. And so I think that it's great. I think that all of our employees, classified or otherwise, should have these benefits, and ideally they should be raised. But I have a question to the author.
Without objection.
Thank you very much. With the current state of unfunded liabilities, where our state's pension system as of June 30th, 2014 was only 76.3% funded, meaning that obviously about 24% was unfunded. My question is if we can't even pay our current obligations, how can we raise benefits regardless of how richly deserved they are?
Mr. Jones Sawyer.
I'll answer my close.
Seeing no
on my own time. I think it's a great idea to raise benefits if we can afford it. When we have our pensions that are not only underfunded, but when the trend line's going the wrong way, it doesn't make sense to make our benefits more rich. So until such a time as we have a higher funding level in our pension system, I'd recommend a no vote.
Seeing no further discussion on the item, Mr. Jones Sawyer, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As a funeral director for 10 years, I can tell you that the cost of funerals have gone up, and the costs that are incurred by our employees is something that we really need to be concerned with. But most important, this particular bill, there will be no cost unless we look at the benefits and the costs that are outstanding. And so I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 45, noes 14. The measure passes. File item 122, AB 1890, Dodd. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1890 by Assemblymember Dodd and others enacting discrimination.
Mr. Dodd, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker and members, I am pleased to present AB 1890, the Equal Pay for Equal Work Act. This bill seeks to compile data on gender wage inequities among state contractors and ensure state contractors have policies preventing unlawful discrimination. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, we've heard these statistics time and time again. Working women have continued to earn an average of just 77 cents on every dollar the man earns. Data breaking down job category by wages, gender, and race has not been widely gathered. In order to appropriately target efforts to reduce and eliminate the wage gap, this data needs to be collected. California needs to lead the way in closing the gender pay gap by ensuring its contractors have fair and equitable wage and non-discrimination policies and programs. This bill aims to help employers take proactive measures to ensure fair pay for their employees. This bill has no opposition and is supported by numerous organizations. Thank you, and I request your aye vote.
Ms. Grove, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I respectfully rise in opposition to this bill, and only because as an employer in the real world, I know that there's a lot of good faith things that go on in this building to justify or to, like the author of this bill says, eliminate disparities and eliminate discrimination. But there's one small problem just in the state of California, I don't think in any other state. So, question of the author.
Without objection.
How, sir, are we supposed to collect this data?
I'll cover that in my close.
Okay. So I see that we're not going to get an answer or response in that, but just to give you a brief information, permission to read?
Permission, without objection.
Article 1 of unlawful practices in 12.920 and 12.951 of the Employment Labor Code says an employer, because of race, religion, creed, color, national origin, ancestry, physical disability, mental disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, age, sexual orientation, or military or veteran status of any person that you are offering an application to, the employer cannot request any of this information. So if we're not allowed under the state law to collect information that deals with race, religion, creed, color, national origin, ancestry, physical disability, mental disability, medical condition, genetic information, marital status, sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, age, sexual orientation, military or veteran status, how can we legally collect this data to comply with the contract obligations you are now imposing on employers? I respectfully ask for a no vote.
Seeing and hearing no further discussion or debate, Mr. Dodd, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you very much. This bill is for businesses with 100 employees or more. This bill is required for federal contractors. This is one step that I think that we can take in the state of California to continue to put attention on this issue that's so important for women throughout the state of California. Thank you. Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
The clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 42, noes 16. The measure passes. File item 123, AB 1965 Cooper. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1965 by Assemblymember Cooper and others enacting vehicular air pollution.
Mr. Cooper, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 1965 expands the successful EFMP Plus Up program to help low-income individuals retire their old, dirty vehicles and replace them with cleaner, more reliable cars. The program provides additional down payment incentives to encourage the retirement and replacement of older, less efficient vehicles with advanced technology and cleaner vehicles. Additionally, the bill requires outreach to low-income households and disadvantaged communities to ensure the Plus Up program is accessible to the neediest of Californians. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. 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 The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 43, noes 20. The measure passes. Passing temporarily on file item 124, file item 125, AB 1995, Williams. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1995 by Assemblymember Williams and others, an act relating to community colleges.
Mr. Williams, you are recognized.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, members. So some of you may not know this, but when I was going to community college, for the first period of time I was there, I was homeless. I lived inside my vehicle, and that was the only ways I could make ends meet in Santa Barbara. The amazing thing that I learned then is that even though I was an enrolled student at Santa Barbara City College, even though I was only 16 years old, I could not have access to their gym's showers. This obviously came in handy when I was approached by community college students this year who said that is actually the common issue on most campuses. A student, even if homeless, cannot use the gym showers. This bill would allow them to use gym showers. It does not prescribe in what manner, nor the hours, but just requires that California community colleges grant enrolled homeless students access to campus shower facilities, which obviously also greatly increase the likelihood that students facing a housing or financial crisis can still successfully complete their educational careers. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 55, no 7. The measure passes. File item 126, AB 2000, Campos. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2000 by Assemblymember Campos, an act relating to juveniles.
Ms. Campos, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 2000 aims to assist youth leaving incarceration and probation supervision by providing them with vital documents that they will need in their transition into adulthood. We already do this with our foster youth who are leaving foster youth system. And the certificates that we're looking at are birth certificates and Social Security cards so that they can actually transition into adulthood. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no further debate or discussion, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 55, no 6. The measure passes. Passing temporarily on file item 127, file item 128, AB 2009. Lopez, the clerk will read.